Do you know that you have all the arsenal in your home right now? You have all the power to help your child choose to cooperate. Yes, that's true. I wish I knew this when my kids were small. Tom's been working with kids his entire life. He had a martial arts school with an after-school program and all-day summer camps for years and years. And he literally worked hands-on with thousands of children, some of them the worst behaved children in the state of Washington. So this is practical application. This works with every single child whose parents choose to engage in this content, because right here is the secret that every parent in the world should actually know. You don't have to force them to act in their best behavior. There is a way that you can help them choose their best behavior and love them either way. And that's the best thing.
Today we're going to talk about know the reward. This is so powerful. You might ask yourself, what is the reward? And if so, does any kind of idea come to mind?
When Tom first started teaching me this, I was like, no, the reward, all right. And then I set up an environment where I bribed my kids to choose their best behavior. I bribed them to do their chores. We know them as chore charts or, rule charts. You do this, I'll give you that. So that's what I set up for my kids. And so I put up this whole chart or whatever, and I showed them what they could earn if they did some chores. And within, 15 minutes, I had 4 kids knocking on my office door going, I just did this, and this. You owe me $20. And I was like, Tom, help me. There's something missing on my chart. So I just wanted to say that because we can come into this knowledge, come into this content with old perceptions, the old way of doing things with the rule charts, the chore charts, everything that's centered around what you want as a parent. What we're talking about here is a little counterintuitive. It's kind of the opposite of what we're used to. So I just wanted to kind of interrupt the thought pattern there.
Einstein said our mindset that creates our problems can't fix them, because if we could, why are we creating them in the first place? So give yourself a moment to just observe, is everything on the positive or negative side? What if you could wrap your head around, maybe there's something I'm doing that I don't even know is causing this. Now that's a moment of pause to think. There's something that we are doing that if we knew, we could change. So let's go back to knowing the reward, right? So many times we think of ourselves that we are the reward bearer. Like we have to have the reward for ourselves, and our children must act the way we expect them to or what we tell them to. And that has nothing to do with the reward for them at all, does it, Bonnie?
I've been learning sales and influencing people for the majority of my life. And there's a number one rule to understand that we don't have the right to ask anything of anyone without sufficient internal motive. I mean, when's the last time somebody gave you unsolicited advice that if you weren't motivated to change in that moment, it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, let's just test this. Let's see how universal this really is. Name any kid who sleeps in birthday morning. Christmas Day,
Tooth Fairy,
right? Easter egg, whatever it is you got going on.
Leaving for Disneyland.
We're going to Disneyland tomorrow. That internal motivation of the reward is so powerful, can overcome any kind of obstacle. Now, this is a really big aha golden nugget. There's an obstacle that stops the kids from doing something. We may or may not know it. But if this reward is bigger than the obstacle, it will be like water. It'll go over or around or through. That's what's powerful. Knowing the reward from the inside out.
Yes. Let's give a little bit of scenario.
Age is irrelevant.
Almost every single movie that we choose to watch within the first 5 to 10 minutes has the kids going to bed, and the parent, after the kids are in bed, goes around and picks up all the toys and cleans up the house.
So when the kid wakes up in the morning, It's like magic.
It's like, woohoo.
I played with all the toys and they magically, the Keebler elves came in and put everything away. Right. And they have no clue what just happened.
When Tom came into our lives, I had no idea he knew anything about kids. I just knew he was really smart when it came to personal development. And so the kids would, first of all, they owned my house. They took over my living room, my TV, my office. I'd have to, ask permission to use my computer in my office. And so, but when Tom would come around, the kids would be like, hey, Tom, can we play Angry Birds on your cell phone? And what's funny is like they had an Xbox, they used my phone, they used my computer, they had access to all of these privileges, we call them, for free. They had free access to everything in my house. But when Tom would come, they'd all of a sudden want to play on his phone. And I couldn't figure it out why the first few visits, but eventually I figured out why.
The same game was on another console that they could play without me in the picture.
Right. So I saw these like little spirits go, Tom, what can I do? And what did you do, Tom, all the time? Every single time they asked for something.
My favorite one was, I'd love for you to play blank. In this case, was Angry Birds on my phone. And I'd ask him, and I remember Zach, because he was one of the first ones, right? Yeah. I said, well, but before we do, what's one thing you could do that puts a smile on your mom's face? And within a nanosecond, ding, he went and did it. And we saw the smile on mom's face. And I go, there's 5 minutes. Let's give it a go. Now, these are the kids that you couldn't pay money before to have them do anything.
True. Oh, yes. That's very, very, well, you know what I'm talking about, right? If you know what I'm talking about, give us a like or a comment below and share an experience. We want to know you. We want to help you get through to the other side because there's a whole dream parenting life there waiting for you,
yes, there is.
When I started to figure this out and when I saw it, it was like so crystal clear. I had my kids on a welfare system. I had done everything for them, been everything for them, lavished them with all of these material objects they didn't want for anything because I had decided, probably like you have decided, that it was my job to make my kids happy. In real life, nobody comes and furnishes our home and gives us 2.5 kids and a couple cars in the driveway. And then when we do something that, is wrong in somebody's eyes, they come and they take something away. Right? We work for everything that we have. We work for everything that our children have as well. But the very first time I ever saw this, their eyes lit up. They had like a new zest for life. They were happy. They felt like they accomplished something, like they had made something happen on their own. And that's why they could have played video games over here just as easy for free. But they would always go to Tom because Tom would always give them a task that they could do. And it's the tasks that our kids do, the chores, the assignments, the completing of tasks that actually give them confidence. Mm-hmm. So this is a very powerful master principle is knowing the reward. And so I cut off the welfare system. They didn't get anything for free. Sleepovers, condiments with their hot dogs, breakfast could have been a very simple breakfast, right? It could even be eggs with toast, but to have jam and orange juice with it, well, you're going to have to earn that. The point is that we owe our kids just a few things.
That's right. There's 3 basic rights, as we like to call them, or we refer to them as food, clothing, and shelter. So know my reward, and I'll give it everything I got. Guide me versus punish me.
Think about this throughout the day when your kids go, Mommy, can I watch TV? Mommy, can we go to the park? Mommy, can we do this? Mommy, can I have a cookie? I would love you to have that. That's called a goal. That's your goal. That's your desire. What needs to take place first so you can make that show up for yourself? It's so empowering. It's so empowering and it's so life changing. So there's a little bite-sized bit of creating champions for life for you. Go to learntospeakkid.com as well and read Raising Healthy, Happy, Cooperative Kids if you haven't done that yet. Maybe you've downloaded it and you haven't read it yet. I don't know. If you need me, private message, Bonnie Leota, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
All right. So until we meet again, here's to your parenting success. Cheers.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.